So I don't know if you've caught this show yet or not. If you're watching this, you probably have. This show Sugar on Apple TV. Great new show. My buddy introduced it to me, and I binged it, and it's very, very good. So this is a review for it. It's going to be a positive review, although I'm going to read from this article here, which is negative. So this is the Guardian, their review of it. This looks like it's Lucy Mangan. She's not a big fan. Doesn't look like, just by the title here. So Sugar review: Colin Farrell's private detective drama is a disaster. It's not. Don't listen to this. I'm going to read a little bit about this because it kind of gives a synopsis of it rather than me doing it. But the review is stupid, it sounds like. Okay. It is a truth commonly acknowledged that neo-noir has been a tricky proposition ever since LA Confidential. So neo-noir is the way they shoot these films, like this, the old sort of detective, like, I don't know, like the old like 30s detective type thing. So if you ever watched LA Confidential, you'll know the way they shot the cameras and, and that whole, I don't know, that whole feel of it. That's what the neo-noir, what they're talking about. So ever since LA Confidential showed us that platonic ideal back in 1997, more than a quarter of a century later, the makers of Apple TV's new contribution to the genre think they have found a way to mark its place in history. We'll come back to that because I'm yet to reconcile my furious reactions to the narrative tactics employed therein. Okay. She's furious. We begin simply enough and appropriately in black and white in Tokyo. So this is how the thing starts, the show starts. Hard-boiled private investigator John Sugar is in the process of rescuing, by means of street smarts and a reluctant but effective amount of violence, incurring minimal damage to his suit, it's a weird way to write that, but whatever. The kidnapped offspring of a Yakuza boss. So he's trying to find this kid. Upon receipt of the traditional brown envelope, he returns to the U.S. and his boss, Ruby Kirby, formerly known as Kirby Howell Baptiste, informing her that he has illicitly picked up another job on the way. Sugar has been contracted by movie producer Jonathan Siegel to find his missing granddaughter, Olivia. Okay. Her father, Bernie, and half-brother David think she has gone on a bender after 2 years of sobriety. Would that things were so simple. Such a weird way to write that, but okay. Fortunately, our gumshoe hero believes in his grandfather's instincts. He's a movie buff, they're saying. So, like, the character is a big movie buff. Whatever. Despite Ruby's wish for him to take a holiday, Sugar is soon embroiled in an ever murkier world involving disappearing bodies in cars. I don't want to read too much about this because I don't want to give away too much about it because this is probably going to go on into some twists and different things. But yeah, so that the gist of this show is basically Colin Farrell is a detective. He works for some sort of shady organization that this Ruby chick seems to run. And he has, after taking this job in Tokyo, he comes back and he was supposed to take a break, but he takes this job unbeknownst to her, Ruby, the chick who, whatever, his handler, I guess. And then, of course, then the show carries on from there. So it's him trying to find this girl, and it's a detective show, so it's well done. But there's a lot of there's some major twists in it. It's the kind of show that you think it's predictable, but it's not actually. It's like where when you're watching a show that it's so over the top that it becomes predictable. You go, it's gonna be this, and it's the stupidest thing. It ends up being that thing. This show doesn't do that. I couldn't predict it at all. I had no idea where this thing was, where it was going. I thought it was going a whole other direction. It did this other thing. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to ruin it for you. If you have watched this show and you've watched the whole season, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, I'm going to highly recommend watching it. Number one, Colin Farrell is a great actor. The premise of the show is good. The neo-noir is done really well. So if you do like that kind of genre or that kind of way of shooting, you'll like it. It's done really well. The show is altogether done quite well. It's only one season, so if you want to binge, just know you're going to binge 8 episodes and then you're going to have to wait. Or you just wait for a while and keep your head, under the dirt and don't listen to anybody. Don't let anybody blow it for you and wait till there's 3 or 4 seasons and then binge it. But either way, highly recommend watching this. Great show. Let me know what you think in the comments. But be careful not to spoil it for anybody because let's be real. With what goes on this, it's pretty easy to spoil, especially if you go and look for it.